Louis Pasteur, Formans French, the 27th of December 1822 to the 28th of September 1895, was a French chemist and microbiologist renowned for his discoveries of the principles of vaccination, microbial fermentation, and pasteurization, the last of which was named after him. His research in chemistry led to remarkable breakthroughs in the understanding of the causes and preventions of diseases, which laid down the foundations of hygiene, public health, and much of modern medicine. Pasteur's works are credited with saving millions of lives through the developments of vaccines for rabies and anthrax. He is regarded as one of the founders of modern bacteriology and has been honored as the father of bacteriology and the father of microbiology, together with Robert Koch, the latter epithet also attributed to Antony van Leeuwenhoek. Born the 27th of December 1822, Dole, France, died the 28th of September 1895, aged 72. Mans-le-Coquette, France. Education: École Normale Supérieure, University of Paris. Known for germ theory of disease, rabies vaccine, cholera vaccine, anthrax vaccines, pasteurization. Spouse: Marie-Laurent M. 1849. Children: 5. Awards: Legion of Honor, Grand Cross 1881. Rumford Medal 1856. Foreign Member of the Royal Society 1869. 1. Copley Medal 1874. Albert Medal 1882. Foreign Associate of the National Academy of Sciences 1883. Cameron Prize for Therapeutics of the University of Edinburgh 1889. Leeuwenhoek Medal 1895. Order of the Medjidi. Scientific career: fields: biology, microbiology, chemistry, mathematics, physics. Institutions: University of Strasbourg, University of Lille, École Normale Supérieure, Pasteur Institute. Notable students: Charles Friedel. Pasteur was responsible for disproving the doctrine of spontaneous generation. Under the auspices of the French Academy of Sciences, his experiment demonstrated that in sterilized and sealed flasks, nothing ever developed. Conversely, in sterilized but open flasks, microorganisms could grow. For this experiment, the Academy awarded him the Alembert Prize, carrying 2,500 francs in 1862. Pasteur is also regarded as one of the fathers of germ theory of diseases, which was a minor medical concept at the time. His many experiments showed that diseases could be prevented by killing or stopping germs, thereby directly supporting the germ theory and its application in clinical medicine. He is best known to the general public for his invention of the technique of treating milk and wine to stop bacterial contamination, a process now called pasteurization. Pasteur also made significant discoveries in chemistry, most notably on the molecular basis for the asymmetry of certain crystals and racemization. Early in his career, his investigation of sodium ammonium tartrate initiated the field of optical isomerism. This work had a profound effect on structural chemistry, with eventual implications for many areas including medicinal chemistry. He was the director of the Pasteur Institute, established in 1887, until his death, and his body was interred in a vault beneath the institute. Although Pasteur made groundbreaking experiments, his reputation became associated with various controversies. Historical reassessment of his notebook revealed that he practiced deception to overcome his rivals. Louis Pasteur quotes, "Science knows no country, because knowledge belongs to humanity, and is the torch which illuminates the world. Science is the highest personification of the nation, because that nation will remain the first which carries the furthest the works of thought and intelligence. Fortune favors the prepared mind. Let me tell you the secret that has led me to my goal. My strength lies solely in my tenacity. When I approach a child, he inspires in me two sentiments: tenderness for what he is, and respect for what he may become. It is surmounting difficulties that makes heroes. There are no such things as applied sciences, only applications of science. Do not let yourself be tainted with a barren skepticism. Science is the highest personification of the nation, because that nation will remain the first which carries the furthest the works of thought and intelligence. The universe is asymmetric, and I am persuaded that life, as it is known to us, is a direct result of the asymmetry of the universe or of its indirect consequences. Science knows no country, because knowledge belongs to humanity, and is the torch which illuminates the world. There does not exist a category of science to which one can give the name applied science. There are science and the applications of science, bound together as the fruit of the tree which bears it. Never will the doctrine of spontaneous generation recover from the mortal blow struck by this simple experiment. One must work, one must work. I have done what I could. The universe is asymmetric, and I am persuaded that life, as it is known to us, is a direct result of the asymmetry of the universe or of its indirect consequences. The universe is asymmetric. Posterity will one day laugh at the sublime foolishness of the modern materialistic philosophy. The more I study nature, the more I stand amazed at the work of the Creator. I pray while I am engaged at my work in the laboratory. You bring me the deepest joy that can be felt by a man whose invincible belief is that science and peace will triumph over ignorance and war, that nations will unite, not to destroy, but to build, and that the future will belong to those who will have done most for suffering humanity. Change only favors minds that are diligently looking and preparing for discovery. It is surmounting difficulties that makes heroes. Luck favors the mind that is prepared. Life comes only from life. The grandeur of the acts of men are measured by the inspiration from which they spring. Happy is he who bears a God within. Whether our efforts are, or not, favored by life, let us be able to say, when we come near to the great goal, I have done what I could. Blessed is he who carries within himself a God, an ideal, and obeys it. Do not put forward anything that you cannot prove by experimentation. Whatever your career may be, do not let yourselves become tainted by a deprecating and barren skepticism. Blessed is he who carries within himself a God, an ideal, and who obeys it, ideal of art, ideal of science, ideal of the gospel virtues. Therein lie the springs of great thoughts and great actions, they all reflect light from the infinite. It would seem to me that I was committing a theft if I were to let one day go by without doing some work. There is a time in every man's life when he looks to his God, when he looks at his life, when he wonders how he will be remembered. Where are the real sources of human dignity, freedom and modern democracy, if not in the concept of infinity to which all men are equal? The Greeks bequeathed to us one of the most beautiful words in our language, the word enthusiasm, entheos, a God within. The grandeur of human actions is measured by the inspiration from which they spring. Happy is he who bears a God within, and who obeys it. Without theory, practice is but routine born of habit. Theory alone can bring forth and develop the spirit of inventions. Preconceived ideas are like searchlights which illumine the path of the experimenter and serve him as a guide to interrogate nature. They become a danger only if he transforms them into fixed ideas. This is why I should like to see these profound words inscribed on the threshold of all the temples of science. The greatest derangement of the mind is to believe in something because one wishes it to be so. When you believe you have found an important scientific fact, and are feverishly curious to publish it, constrain yourself for days, weeks, years sometimes, fight yourself, try and ruin your own experiments, and only proclaim your discovery after having exhausted all contrary hypotheses. But when, after so many efforts, you have at last arrived at a certainty, your joy is one of the greatest which can be felt by a human soul. Great problems are now being handled, keeping every thinking man in suspense: the unity or multiplicity of human races, the creation of man 1,000 years or 1,000 centuries ago, the fixity of species, or the slow and progressive transformation of one species into another, the eternity of matter, the idea of a God unnecessary. Such are some of the questions that humanity discusses nowadays. God grant that by my persevering labors I may bring a little stone to the frail and ill-assured edifice of our knowledge of those deep mysteries of life and death where all our intellects have so lamentably failed. To bring oneself to believe in a truth that has just dawned upon one is the first step towards progress, to persuade others is the second. Time is the best appraiser of scientific work, and I am aware that an industrial discovery rarely produces all its fruit in the hands of its first inventor. If science has no country, the scientist should have one, and ascribe to it the influence which his works may have in this world. To demonstrate experimentally that a microscopic organism actually is the cause of a disease and the agent of contagion, I know no other way, in the present state of science, than to subject the microbe, the new and happy term introduced by M. Sadilit, to the method of cultivation out of the body. There are two men in each one of us: the scientist, he who starts with a clear field and desires to rise to the knowledge of nature through observations, experimentation and reasoning, and the man of sentiment, the man of belief, the man who mourns his dead children, and who cannot, alas, prove that he will see them again, but who believes that he will, and lives in the hope, the man who will not die like a vibrio, but who feels that the force that is within him cannot die.